Hello and welcome, and as you can see here, this is my 1996 Mark III Golf. It originally came with the 1.4 litre 8 valve, and that was crap. So after a couple of years of fiddling around with it and messing around, decided to put a little turbo on it. So I used a Renault Traffic Turbo. Throw some pictures up and some videos of it when it's working. Never worked very well. So as that blew up, I decided to do the next best thing. 225 horsepower BAM engine with the KO4, but it's not that little KO4 anymore. No. It now has the K360 Hyper Turbo on it, and from my research, apparently it's supposed to have the RS6 internals. Rated to about 360 horsepower, but you don't want to just look at it with the bonnet shut. As much as it looks like a mess, you want to get the bonnet shut. As much as it looks like a mess, you want to see the masterpiece of it. And here she is. Has a 3-inch track slag downpipe on it now, to a 2.5 inch all the way back. K360 hybrid, like I said, front mount intercooler. It's running about 300 horsepower at the moment. Unfortunately, the weak parts of these BAM engines are the rods. As soon as you go anywhere near 300 horsepower, they just bend. I never had that issue, but after 4 head gaskets on it that I put on, I just had to take the head off again just to replace the head gasket, and then that turned into completely ripping it apart. It now has forged rods in it with the original pistons, because to be honest, I'm not running stupid power in it. I want about 330 horsepower standard. You know, it would be alright. Front wheel drive, one wheel pill, who cares? Like, you're not going to go anywhere with 300 horsepower anyway, but it's there and I can do it. Does look like a mess at the moment, but this next couple of months, hopefully, it will be back out. I've sort of decided to do a little bit of like a resto mod. I wouldn't say resto, or probably more say like tidy it up. All the seals are shot, seals are cut out and welded. Got a few more little bits to do. It's brand new subframe on it, got brand new lower arms on it, it's got everything's brand new. Big brakes on it, it's got the VR6 brakes on it, 288mm, which is, it'll do. Don't really know what else to really say with it. This is just a pain in the ass to work on, I've got to be honest. A lot of people should know how these 180s are like, and they're a pain in the ass and very unreliable. I've probably done 5,000 miles in this in probably 3 years. But this has been off the road for another year, and I've already had to rebuild the engine. I put 4 head gaskets on it, and do the cylinder head on it. So started overheating a couple of years ago, just before I've had to go to the beach. Unfortunate. So I thought again it was a head gasket, so I took it apart, looked at it, and I realised there was a nice little crack in the cylinder head. £400 later, has another rebuilt head on it. No idea if any internals have been changed on it, because I think they're just new and used, but all been redone. What is my end goal with this? To be honest, to chop these modern cars. I've already had standard Golf Rs. I've had 140i's, standard. There's no point racing them when they've got a stage 1 or stage 2 or a stage 4000 on it. because those new BMWs and all that, and the new technology in the engines is just stupid. This is old school. This engine's like 30 years old. Like when they originally used this 1.8 block, it's like 30 years old. Old school, do modern stuff on it, but my end goal with it is to chop the living daylights out of some people. Legally. On the track, not on the road. I'm experimenting with the paint as you can see at the moment. It's had many different looks. It has had the original red look, but before I had that it was a red, chili red I believe it was, with a black wrap on it. And don't get me wrong, the black wrap did look quite cool on it, but you know when you start seeing it flaking off, you just go, I'm going to pull that off, and then next thing you know you're pulling more off, and then next thing you know you've pulled the lacquer off the 30-year-old car. So what did I do after that? I sanded it down, primed it, and just ratted it. Some big ass 9J wheels on it that rubbed like the mother of Jesus. After I'd done that, and I painted it purple. Now I wanted it to be Cadbury's purple, but it ended up being a very dark purple. That looked alright, don't get me wrong. I used a tiny little compressor and I painted it, and it didn't look too bad. However, 6 months later I did not prep the bodywork well, and the paint started to crack dramatically. So what did I do then? I left it and I just ignored it. I looked at it and I went, I'm not touching you because you're annoying me. Nah, don't get me wrong, I love this car, it's good fun. So what did I do when I had the paint cracking? Sanded it down, and then I decided to try and do a Harlequin. Well, that was fun. Looked alright, and then I decided the paint I was using did not decide to dry. So all the yellow that I had on the car did not dry for some reason. And I still have the bumper in the back still wet, and I painted that 2 years ago. So I don't know what happened to that. The doors wet. So what did I do with that? Again, I found a unit and I threw it in the unit because I looked at it and went, I do not want to work on you because you're annoying me. As I was rebuilding the engine, I thought I do need to tidy it up. So I painted the engine bay with the same Cadbury's purple, and it looked wicked. And then I put the engine in it and I scratched the living daylights out of the paint. So do not look too close because all the paint has come off. And I'm not taking the engine out again yet. I tried painting the rest of the car purple. I was experimenting and I just could not get my air compressor to work right. So it went very, very fish-eyed and yeah, bad. The Harlequin did get a lot of looks, and don't get me wrong, I did kind of want to stay with the Harlequin, but after I was seeing that it was not drying and it just kept scratching and there was pollen getting stuck to the paint, I just thought it was time for a change. So I've decided to experiment again with it, and as you can't see because I'm not showing it, I've tried painting the reporter red, tornado red, just to see what it looked like. Don't look too bad, and probably end up doing the rest of the car red again, the original, but it's not obviously the original because it's chili red, the original colour, or I paint it purple again. But I do apologise for my belly on show. This past year, when I had my new little boy, I've put on a few pounds. And I say a few pounds, a lot of pounds. However, that body and all. So what did I do else with this car? I replaced the sills on it. I replaced the rear arches because I ruined the rear arches on them. Rear arches, I rolled them and they were very rotten and it just crumbled apart. So all the rear arches welded. A few more little bits to tidy up. but it is very difficult at the moment because of where I am. As you could probably hear in the background, my generator is going on. There is no power in here. So everything I've got to do is minimal electric. This is going to be fun. So, 330 horsepower. Yes. I want 330 horsepower. I would like to see 400 just so I have the paperwork. Just to go, it was 400. It won't last long. The rods I've put in it are questionable. Max speeding rods. I want to put the max speeding rods in it. I was like, they don't look too bad. But then I looked at the prices of the better ones and I was like, they will do. 320 quid for these Ford rods. And I was like, yes, I'll take that. The other ones are like £1,000. I'm not paying £1,000. So, when I had this, I blew the power steering lines on it. So, for a year I drove it with no power steering, and it was terrifying. Because there was no fluid in the rack, and there was lots of play. So you go around the corner, and you go, oh, I turned now. Yeah, it was not good. Just got a 5-speed box in it. Ideally I want to put a 6-speed in it. However, that's more fabrication, and I don't want to do it. This gearbox, that's alright. This is the 6th gearbox I've put in it. Yeah. Clutch. Put 2 clutches in it in 2 years when I had it. Reason why is because the first ever time I done the 180 swap in it, I was eager to get to a car meet. So I went to a car meet, and everyone was like, "You need to start racing some people." I was like, "I don't want to race anyone because it's Mexico," and I was like, "Alright." So it was on this little private land, and I was getting chopped, and chopped, and chopped again. Because I could not get traction. One wheel pills are not good when you've only got like 195 45s on it. Yeah, tiny little wheels. So, what did I do if I couldn't get power down in first gear? I started in second. What do you think happened there? Second gear decided to explode. Yes. First ever time driving it, and I blew the gearbox up. And it was not a cheap gearbox. I got told to put a DEA gearbox in it. I believe that's what the code was. It was a diesel box from a 1.4 diesel. To go down the motorway and you're cruising. I paid £400 for this gearbox because I had to get it from Lithuania. And it lasted me a day. I still drove it around for a bit because I couldn't find a gearbox at the time. I bought one and realised it was the wrong one. I should have known. 1.6 diesel does not fit. So I paid 150 quid for that one, and you know what I done with that? I threw it to the scrapyard because no one wanted to buy it off me because no one wants to use the box. Silly me, I should have known. So I bought another gearbox for it, 50 quid, and yeah, that was fun. That blew up. Maybe 2 weeks later. After a couple of months of driving, I was just driving around everywhere, going to car meets and just meeting people and just having a bit of fun. And I was about 2 hours away, maybe an hour and a half. And the clutch decided to go bye-bye. Bearing in mind, I put the clutch in within that 6 months. So, I had to get towed home. Yes, that was terrifying, being towed home. Got the gearbox out, and the friction plate, it was in 2. What happened is, silly me, when I blew the gearbox up, I put a load of gearbox oil in the clutch, and I didn't clean it. I just kept driving it, and it just started to just let go, and it was just in pieces. So that was fun. That was another 250 quid gone. Had to buy another one. That was another 250 quid. That was fun. That gearbox then decided to go kaput because the gearbox mount broke. That was fun. When you're doing these 180 swaps and these Mark 3 Golfs, you have to use the original gearbox mount from like the 16 valves and stuff like that. That broke. Do you know how much that engine mount was? Second hand. That was £80. So yeah, the engine mount decided to just go kaput, and it took it off the gearbox. That was fun. So I had to find another one of those engine mounts because all the threads were pulled out. That was fun. Yeah, that was another 50 quid to buy another one of those mounts. And they are so difficult to find. At the moment, this gearbox currently in it has been in it for the longest, and it was the cheapest one that I bought, which I was amazed about. I paid 20 or 30 pound for this gearbox, and it's lasted the longest. Probably won't now with 330 horsepower. However, YOLO. So, what do I have to do now? I've got to tidy some intercooler pipes up because, as you can tell, the intercooler is not actually attached. It's just hanging there. The mount's broke. Hit a curb. It broke. Cool. Yay. However, I want to go for a bigger intercooler, so that is going in the bin. Straight into that bin, and I'm going to get a nice big intercooler put on that one. Probably for no benefit whatsoever because there's a crash bar in the way. And I want to keep the crash bar, and there's probably going to be no airflow, so yeah, I can have a big intercooler on it, and it won't do nothing. What I do. Few little odds and ends to do. I broke the wiring for the headlights, that's fun. More wiring I broke. Wiring loom is a mess at the back, it's all cable tied because I've lost the cover. There's supposed to be a cover that goes over the back that hides all the wires. Yeah, that's gone. Don't know where. And I've even moved my unit into this new unit and I can't find it. So, yeah, that's fun. Issue at the moment is, as I freshly rebuilt the engine, I started it for the first time in a whole year, and I was very shaky legs because I didn't know if I torqued any of the bolts up properly in the actual engine, so I was like, ooh. So, started it up, and it ran lovely, and I was so excited I rang the missus. Let it cool up, bled the system on it, you know, just the old FaceTime and missus, and I was, oh look, it's running. It's wicked. It's been a year. Next thing you know, as soon as I flip the camera, it's smoke straight out the bonnet. Yeah, it overheated. It overheated again. Yeah, it overheated again. I think what the issue is at the moment is the switch with the fan is not working. I hope it is that because I don't want to take the engine apart again because it's got good stuff in it. Everything I put back in it is Erlen and Febby. So everything is top quality notch. And I'm hoping it's not that as the issue because the temperature gauge didn't even say it was hot. It said it was about 70 degrees and it's, yeah, yeah, but lots of smoke, water everywhere, all over my fresh engine bay, and there's now water droplets everywhere. Fun. So I've got to sort that out, and in the future videos I will probably film me effing and blinding work on this thing again because it's absolutely cold right now and I can't be bothered. So yeah.